To the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. I guess kind of the big news today, or one of the most interesting talking points in sports today is Dan Le Batard, ESPN host, goes ham on the hire of Magic Johnson for the Los Angeles Lakers. And Keyshawn Johnson claps back. So here's the quote from Dan Le Batard. And for the record, I mean, I like Dan Le Batard. I never met the guy. I think he's okay. I mean, I've seen his show before. I don't get the whole premise of it, having his pops there, acting like some type of crazy deranged dude. I don't get that. But I don't have any particular beef against Dan Le Batard. He has his own show on ESPN, The Puppet Factory. Here's a quote from Dan Le Batard after Magic Johnson got the job for the Los Angeles Lakers. What you've got here, though, is a testament to the power of fame and a testament to the power of a modicum of charm. Because Magic Johnson is charming, but Magic Johnson was given a late-night television show because he's famous and charming, failed in 11 shows. Magic Johnson was given a head coaching job of the Lakers because he's famous and charming, failed in 16 games. Magic Johnson, not interesting as a broadcaster, given broadcasting opportunity after broadcasting opportunity because he's famous and charming, and now he gets to run the entire Lakers organization because he's famous and charming. That's amazing. Yeah. So Keyshawn Johnson, something you got to remember in this story, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, something you got to remember in this story, Keyshawn Johnson is from L.A. So Keyshawn Johnson's probably the biggest Laker fan that you can think of. He probably is a fan of the Los Angeles Rams and anything to do with L.A., the Dodgers or what have you, the Kings. So Keyshawn, on a response on a radio show, I believe, says, quote, I'm going to read between the lines. I'm going to read between the lines on this one. To me, he's saying because he's a black dude, that's the way I look at it. The co-host at the time, this guy named Sedano. No, I know Dan. That's not true. Johnson, I don't know him, but that's the way I look at it. His partner, once again, chimed in. If you are insinuating that Dan is like being prejudiced here, Johnson says, that's what I'm insinuating. And then they go back and forth, and basically Keyshawn Johnson just defended Magic Johnson and him getting this job to the highest of defendable. And saying that everything that Magic Johnson's done in his life and the way that Dan Le Batard characterized, Magic getting this job and all of the failures that he's had in the past is totally inaccurate. And he gave an example about the Lakers and the 5-11 record when he had 16 games coaching at the end of the 94 season, and talked about the fact that late-night show wasn't totally entirely his fault, and so a bunch of other things. So he defended him to the hilt, man, and basically said that, Dan Le Batard is wrong about what he's saying. And listen, I talked about this yesterday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I think it's fair to kind of say to yourself, Magic Johnson really doesn't have any front office experience. How does he get the job? Well, he gets the job because that's what happens in basketball in particular, and in a lot of sports. It's almost like there's this thing out there where you're rewarded in sports for on-the-job training, okay? Magic Johnson, the greatest basketball player of all time, he may not understand the ins and outs of the front office, which, by the way, Magic is going to be more so of a figurehead and a recruiter than the guy that's going to be in there doing all of the contracts. That's Rob Pelinka guy that they brought in. That's what he's going to do. So let's be honest. Magic Johnson's a figurehead. Magic Johnson's a beloved player name in Los Angeles, in basketball in general. Once again, he's going to be the guy that seals the deal. He's going to be the guy that gets free agents in there, and because they're a fan of Magic Johnson and everything he's done business-wise in the world. And by the way, Magic may have had a couple of times in his life where things didn't work out the way, but I would bet that Magic Johnson's successes on the court, off the court, in life and business far outweigh the things that he's failed at. Okay, so let's just throw that in there. But Magic Johnson's in there to be the guy that gets players to sign with the Lakers, okay, to add a face to the organization. He's a figurehead. And the problem that I have, once again, I don't have a problem with you questioning a guy with little front office experience being the GM or the president of basketball operations. And I even mentioned it yesterday myself. Like, Magic has a little sordid past as far as his success in a management-type role when he was the coach of the Lakers back in the day. But that's it. I don't have a problem with Magic Johnson getting this job. You know why? Because in relative terms to getting a job, because you know somebody or because you have this certain status, you may not have a big background or your resume may not state that you are the most qualified person for this job. In relative terms to how many times that scenario has played out in this country's history, one job for Magic Johnson compared to, I don't know, 50 million jobs for every white guy that owns some company and gives a job to his friend, his boy, his cousin, a dude that he plays golf with. We see it all the time. In relative terms to how many times that's happened in this country's history where it's pertaining white people, in relative terms to Magic Johnson getting one stinking job, is not even comparable. It's not even comparable. It's not even comparable. So Magic Johnson gets the job. Last week, John Lynch got a job and he wasn't darn qualified. I mean, it happens all the time on the other side. Okay, so yeah, technically, based on resume, Magic Johnson may not have been more qualified than a bunch of other guys that have GM front office experience on their resume. 10, 15, 20 plus years or whatever. Yes, that's probably accurate. But in relative terms to how much that scenario plays out, once again, in this country's history, in every level, in every different type of business that you can think of, I mean, it's no big deal. You can goddamn give us one or two. Damn. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, damn. And I always say this, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I always say this, man. Like, if it wasn't for affirmative action, everybody hates affirmative action. All of our white brethren, they always talk about affirmative action is wrong. Is wrong? If we didn't have affirmative action, if they didn't have something like the Rooney Rule in the NFL, niggas would never get a job. What? I mean, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. If there weren't affirmative action, if there wasn't something holding the fire under the feet of owners, business owners, and these companies to give black people a look, okay, and to try to employ, black candidates with the same resume as our white counterparts, we would never get a goddamn job. So F you. Once again, I don't know how Magic's going to do. But as I said yesterday, I like the fact that they wiped the slate clean. All right, I'm okay with that. I don't know if he's going to be successful or not. I continue to think back to what happened when he took over as a team. But am I mad that they gave the greatest basketball player I've seen in my life, the greatest Laker that I've seen in my life, a job in the front office to try to change the makeup of the organization? I have no problem with that at all. Hopefully it works, but I have no problem with that at all. What are your thoughts? Yeah, miss me with that bullshit. Miss me with that. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougshoreshow.com. I want to get your thoughts on this story, especially if you're a Lakers fan. What are your thoughts? Yeah. So you mad because Magic Johnson gets a job and he's not 100% qualified? He doesn't have a greater resume as anybody else? I mean, that's ridiculous. This happens all the time. It happened just last week with John Lynch, a week or two ago. John Lynch got damn front office experience, and now he's running the freaking San Francisco 49ers. Hell, you can say the same thing about John Elway. John Elway came up off the street and got the management, the GM job for the Denver Broncos. And once again, it is kind of like a culture in the NBA where you saw Avery Johnson quickly ascend up to being the head coach. Mark Jackson, same thing. Jason Kidd. I don't think Jason Kidd was out of basketball for a month or two. And then he had the head job for the Milwaukee Bucks. So this is a culture. This is a normal type of thing. And the reason I think that it happens, and the reason why I think that it's understood and accepted for the most part, is like I said earlier. These guys, when you're a Hall of Fame basketball player, more chances than not, you've been part of basketball ever since you were a little kid, okay? And especially if you're a point guard and you understand delegating, time, if you understand being leaders of men, okay? So if you're Jason Kidd, if you're Magic Johnson and you're a Hall of Fame player and you've been associated with and part of basketball since you were 7 years old, yeah, on-the-job training counts a lot for you. And nobody should have a problem with that. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Once again, it is a fantastic, freaky, funny Football Friday. I want to get your thoughts on that. Also, we got to talk about the trade deadline. In the next segment, we'll get to that conversation. Not really a lot of conversation to have. Nothing really big happened. A couple little small moves happened. We'll get into that. Charles Oakley gets much love in them streets. We'll get into that. Jameis Winston can't get right once again. Back to Mexico. I need you to go to the Doug Stewart Show chat group on Facebook and cast your vote for this week's Ball Penis Award winner or loser. Your nominees are Sidney Jackson, the Stewie, for this whole penguin lie in Popeyes. The Orange Dude, Kings front office, especially Vlade Divac. NBA All-Star Weekend, Loose Neck Side, the Stewie. Sage Steele, and Tiffany Sports and Heels, the Stewie. Go to thedougsstewartshow.com and cast your vote. All right, when we get back from the break, man, let's talk about these NBA trades or not trades. We'll talk about that when we get back from the break. Read some of your chat, get some of your thoughts on this Dan Le Batard dissing Magic Johnson story. Keyshawn Johnson coming to his defense. We'll touch upon that and do what we do on a fantastic, freaky, funny Football Friday. This is a Friday, all right? This is a Friday, so we're definitely going to talk some football. We're going to mix in a little football talk here and there. That's what we do. All right? The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Back in 3 minutes. Don't go away.
When you see that Cadillac coming through on them blades with them Carolina blades, bitch, get out the way. Stepping out with my ice on me and my killers trifling. You can end up with your life gone if you don't get out the way. I'm in the club out drunk as fuck, throw in my setup. If another nigga push me better, get out the way. When you see me go into that trunk, ready to grab that pump, make that shit dump, pump, get out the way. Y'all niggas better get up out my way for I gotta send me out a pot game to spray for I leave the motherfuckers down on the ground. Y'all niggas really had a whole lot of shit to say. Now the only thing I'm hearing is silence. The silence of the tennis whole scene, the violence. I stepped up in this club, did it be stylish? Try to find something to fuck, but you got me to wildin'. Tell me to chill before I lose it again. And when I lose it, you losers be losing your friends. One shot from the Ruger and you losing your limbs. The hardest nigga running out of here losing his tail. Hey, fucked up, y'all niggas can't stand me. The only reason you hate me because you ain't me. And me, I'm something that the niggas just can't be. Simply lazy, EYE for SC. My Carolina niggas in here, just stand up. Put your guns in the air, forget some of your setup. When it rains and pours to the shells, don't let up. Better get up off my way before the hollers get ya. Hey. Before the hollers wet your hair, your body leaking like a bottle of ketchup. If you in my way, your best bet is just to do what the song say, bitch, get out the way. When you see that Cadillac coming through on them bays with them Carolina blades, bitch, get out the way. Stepping out with my ice on me and my killers trifling. You getting up with your life on if you don't get